Hi, I am Ellaeenah. I am an energy intuit, a psychic, a spiritual mentor, and I receive all of my wisdom, my guidance, and my direction from my cosmic master, JadeFire, who is the Lord Sananda. This sacred method of healing using the 9 sacred geometric codes was channeled by me. JadeFire gave me this wonderful information that has already helped so many people and is being used by so many for themselves and for others. To understand creation, you must understand mathematics. In the world of numbers, geometric shapes, and laws of physics lies the answers that spiritualists seek. The world of science is the world of spirituality, and spirituality cannot go beyond a point if science is not understood. The process of human evolution shall be accelerated when science and spirituality recognize each other as the same face, only seen from a different angle. These are the words that JadeFire used in order to introduce the method of healing, the 9 sacred codes of healing. JadeFire has explained that the chakrix system consists of the 7 primary chakras, as also the hundreds of other secondary chakras. He goes on to explain that running continuously through all the chakras are 9 distinctive layers of energy. This is an absolutely new knowledge of chakras and their construction. Each layer of energy carries a distinctive energy that is relevant for the kind of message that it takes responsibility for. These are messages that it communicates to you as the person, but also communicates energy messages from you to the outside world. These messages contain information about your inner environment, your perceptions based upon your beliefs and your feelings, your reactions and your responses, and the relationship that you share with the outside world. The 9 layers of energy are a continuous flow through the entire chakrix system. These 9 layers flow through all the chakras. And when one layer is imbalanced or diseased, it therefore naturally imbalances and diseases the entire chakrix system, because the layers are not exclusive or contained in only one chakra, but in fact run through all the chakras. The first layer of energy carries messages about the physical world. It is your connection to the world of matter, your connection to the physical world around you. The second layer contains messages about how this physical world influenced you while you were in the womb and how it influenced you from the time of your birth to the time you were 7 years old. The third layer carries messages about your reactions and your responses to the physical world as the child from birth to 7 years. The fourth layer carries information about your core beliefs and your ideas. The fifth layer carries information about your core feelings. The sixth layer carries information that is non-physical, how the non-physical world influenced you. The seventh layer carries subtle, unassimilated energy of experiences of the past. An event might have taken place when you were 4 years old, but because you have not enough processed that event, the energies of that event are still present in your chakrix system, in the seventh layer. Let us assume that these unassimilated energies are the energies of fear of those who are in authority. Even as an adult, you will find it very challenging to deal with authority figures, and you will feel uncertain and hesitant in such transactions. The eighth layer is the layer of alchemy and manifestation. JadeFire tells us that in each and every human being is an already present knowingness of alchemy and manifestation. When a human being lives as per the natural laws of the universe, this information does not need to be taught. It is as natural as crawling, walking is to a child. The very fact that we have to learn about this is evidence of the fact that the seventh layer has a large volume of unassimilated energies of experiences of the past, that the fourth layer and fifth layer have created beliefs and feelings that might not be positive due to the second and the third layer receiving and giving messages that could have been harsh for the child. The ninth layer is the layer of bliss and spiritual ecstasy. This layer does not become active when The 8 other layers hold energies within them that cause dis-ease and imbalance. This healing method is layer-centric. It focuses upon the 9 layers and not only upon each of the chakras. In fact, it gives greater importance to the 9 layers than to each chakra individually. And because these layers are so important from the point of view of this healing method, a specific sacred geometric code is assigned to each layer. This code can be used to heal only that layer, to balance only that layer, and cannot be used for any of the other layers. Each geometric code enhances the positive message of the layer and gently neutralizes the negative messages, whether these messages are received or given. The geometric codes shall work upon the message, neutralizing the negative charge and enhancing the positive charge. Though you may, if you wish, draw the sacred geometric codes on a sheet of paper while you are working, you do not need to do this at all. Each code that you're working with is to be drawn mentally while that particular layer is being healed. This act of drawing the code mentally releases the power of the code, the strength of the code, and enhances that layer with that power and strength. JadeFire explains that there are 9 layers to the chakrix system. This is information that other healing modalities have not taken into consideration. Each of these 9 layers is assigned a sacred geometric code in order to heal that layer of energy. The 9 codes of healing method is a layer-centric method of healing. Instead of focusing upon one chakra at a time, it heals the layers of energy, the 9 layers of energy that run continuously through the entire chakrix system. Thus, this healing method addresses the root cause for the energy imbalance, whereas the other healing modalities strive to address the imbalance itself. But when you do not address the root cause, when you do not heal that one layer that lies as the root cause of the imbalance, it becomes very challenging to heal the energy imbalance in a permanent way. The 9 codes of healing recognizes that the cause may not only be contained in one chakra, but that it is actually contained in one layer. And therefore, you do not focus on one chakra, but you focus upon all the layers and ensure that all the layers are healed. In front of you now is the sacred geometric code for the first layer. If you recall, the first layer is that layer of energy that connects you to the physical world, to the world of matter. The problems that we face vis-a-vis money or house or property or centeredness, rootedness, these are all challenges that occur when the first layer is in imbalance. Study the code well, read how to draw it, and before moving on to the next slide, you may wish to pause here and practice this code for a few minutes. Practice it till you are able to draw it without hesitation, without thinking too much about it. Free flowing energy from the code is released when the code becomes almost second nature to you. So take your time over this and practice it enough before you move on to the next code. This is the code of the second layer. If you recall, this is the layer of energy that carries messages about how the world influenced you while you were in the womb and till you were 7 years of age. This is a simple code, but do practice it enough, following the instructions that have been given to you. Once you have practiced this enough, you can move on to the third code. Before you now is the sacred geometric code for the third layer. This is the layer that carries messages about your reactionary processes, your responses to the stimuli and the triggers that the outside world brought to you as a child in your formative years. This would refer to your reactions and responses from the time of your birth to the time that you were 7 years of age. Here is the sacred geometric code for the fourth layer. This is the layer of your core beliefs and your core ideas. This is an extremely important layer because very often, unknown to you, you have strong beliefs about certain things. And these beliefs create responses and reactions in you, which sometimes even you might not understand. These core beliefs could have been internalized from the family or from the school environment. They can also be beliefs that you have created for yourself as a defense mechanism or something that you learned as a part of growing up. Though the core beliefs start very often as children, as adults, we are often faced by our mysterious responses, and the answers very often lie in these deep-set core beliefs. Of course, this layer will hold messages about your positive beliefs as well as the not so positive beliefs. This is a slightly complex drawing, so do take your time over it, learn it well, draw it first on paper and then try to draw it mentally. This is the fifth layer and the sacred code for the fifth layer. This is the layer of your core feelings. As children, as teenagers, when we go through experiences that the intellectual mind is unable to make sense of, the emotions begin to give us messages that might not necessarily be true. For example, a young child whose mother is forced to go out to work for many long hours each day might not understand the financial compulsions and thus begins to have a feeling of abandonment. These core feelings do not disappear as we grow up and begin to understand what had taken place and why it had taken place. The core feelings that were set at that time remain in our subconscious and color and shadow all our relationships. This sacred code thus is very, very important. It is a simple code, very easy to learn and very, very easy to use. This is the sacred geometric code for the sixth layer. We are not only influenced by the material world around us. As a human race, And as a part of the human race, we are also influenced by spiritual influences, by the consciousness of those who are around us, by unspoken messages that we receive. It is important to understand that every single human being is able to pick up what are popularly known as vibes, which are nothing but energy vibrations. And the reason why everyone picks up on these vibes is because of the sixth layer that runs through the chakrix system. So if in the consciousness of a few people around you is the strong energy of religious intolerance, of social shunning, you will vibrationally pick up that energy, even if no words are spoken, no actions are taken that can tell you that such truths exist in that group. This layer of the non-physical world and its messages is important for the growth of our consciousness. As children, what were we subjected to? What were we exposed to? What was the consciousness of those in our families, in our schools, in our communities? These consciousnesses exist within us. Then there are also collective energies that we pick up. As nations, we have a certain consciousness. So a nation in the East, for example, may have a certain consciousness of religiosity and spirituality, which may be entirely different from the consciousness of a nation in the West. Collective consciousness and personal consciousness is influenced by the sixth layer and in turn influences others. This is an important layer to work with when you are attempting to spiritually evolve. If you are attempting to psychically and mediumistically develop yourself, then this layer must be a very, very healthy, positive layer. This is the seventh sacred geometric code that you are learning about. This is a vital layer of energy. There is no one in this world that does not have a past. We have all gone through experiences and events, some of which have left some very deep scars. Some have left their wounds, and some may not have wounded us deeply, but they may have created certain core beliefs and core feelings within us. These unassimilated energies, unresolved residues of the past events, lie within the energy space creating energy burdens and energy blocks. It is vital to remember that when one layer is imbalanced, it transmits the energies of imbalance to all the other layers. And as one layer gets burdened and then eventually blocked, the other layers will also begin to experience the burden and the blocks. This is the true meaning of the term that is constantly used, a blocked chakra. The chakras get blocked because the layers get burdened by unassimilated energies of the past. To assimilate the energy is to first understand the past, if that is possible. But what is most vital is the act of forgiveness, followed by the act of gratitude. To forgive whatever took place, to let it go and to move on. One of the practices that I use for myself and I ask my clients to use when working with this sacred code is the practice of Ho'oponopono. If you know about this practice, then do affirm the 4 statements as you mentally draw this code over and over again. This is the 8th layer, the layer of alchemy and manifestation. JadeFire reiterates that manifestation, law of attraction, alchemical abilities are not restricted to only a few who are then considered gifted. These abilities reside in every single human being. In order to access these abilities, in order to awaken ourselves to these inborn, natural, innate abilities, we need to ensure that the first 7 layers are purified, are balanced. Because if the first 7 layers, or even one of the first 7 layers, carry an energy burden, this energy burden, this vibration of energy burden will affect the 8th layer. And the 8th layer will not be able to effectively and 100% awaken you to your abilities of alchemy and manifestation. This is the ultimate 9th layer, the layer of bliss and spiritual ecstasy. We have all heard of spiritual teachers like the Buddha experiencing this bliss in their living embodiments. You might have wondered how they could experience this in living embodiment. It is because every single human being, every single chakrix system has this 9th layer of bliss and spiritual ecstasy. But this 9th layer remains in an almost, let us say, dormant state till the 8th layer has awakened fully, then the ninth layer begins to awaken as well. Higher consciousness is drawn to the ninth layer, and messages from higher realms begin to flood into the ninth layer, and these are then carried to you. The ninth layer helps you to respond to the divine spirit that lies within all, to move beyond the ego, to move beyond separation, to move beyond religion, to move beyond differences of any kind, and to understand that there is one unbroken, never-ending, infinite connection between you, all others, and the divine spirit as a whole. If you have come to this slide, I am going to assume that you now have adequate information and knowledge about the 9 layers, and that you are able to draw the sacred geometric codes without hesitation. If that is so, you are now ready to learn how to use the codes. If it is possible, try to identify the layer or layers where the root of the problem lies. In the earlier example where we spoke of fear of authority figures, let us assume that you can identify that the root lies in the second and the third layers. When you have identified this, you are now ready to use the sacred geometric codes of the second layer and the third layer. Make firm intention. For example, you might state, I firmly make intention that I now balance, heal, repair, and restore the energies of the second layer. Once you have made this intention, you then start mentally drawing the sacred geometric code. As I have mentioned earlier, you do not need to draw them on paper, but if that makes you more comfortable, please go ahead and do so. Draw the code for a minimum of 9 times, but if your intuition guides you to go ahead more than 9 times, please follow your intuition. For a few days, once again, please be guided by your intuition. It could be 9 days, it could be more than 9 days. Continue to heal, balance, repair, and restore the energies of the layer or layers where the root of the problem lies. When you have done this enough, and you intuitively know that you are ready to move on, for the next 9 days or more, as you might intuit, use the other sacred geometric codes, but not the sacred geometric codes of layer 8 and layer 9. When you have completed your healing of the first 7 layers, Then you can start to heal and balance the energies of the layer 8 and layer 9. When you are using the sacred geometric codes, you can use any other method of energy healing along with this. For example, you might wish to use the Reiki energy, or you might wish to work with Bach flower remedies, or you might wish to use crystals. The 9 sacred geometric codes add and enhance the energies of all other healing modalities. So you do not need to give up one healing modality in order to begin to work with the 9 sacred codes. You merely incorporate the 9 sacred codes into the current modality that you are already working with. You can use these codes for yourself. You can also use them to heal others. In order to help us to live in spaces that are positively enhancing and uplifting, JadeFire has also given us this sacred geometric code for clearing, healing, and strengthening spaces. JadeFire knows how much we love our pets. He also knows how important the animal kingdom is for the health of the human world. And so he has given a special sacred geometric code to heal animals. I have used this code for my pets, and each time I have used the code or shared it with others who have also used them, the results have been amazing. Here we end the basic level of the 9 sacred codes of healing. If you wish to continue with the advanced level that explains each layer in great detail, that identifies the specific energies of each layer as it goes through each chakra, then feel free to contact me, and I shall be most happy to help you to further your knowledge so that you can use this to enrich your healing experience.